Hi guys, thank you so much for being with us here today. If you've joined us here, it's because you've heard a little bit about the opportunity for master's students at Trinity College Dublin to partake in EIT Climate Cake's Climate Innovation Leadership Program in 2021. You might not know this, but it's running for the first year in a way. It's transitioning a little bit from another program, and we are very thankful to have Sylvia here from EIT Climate Cake, who's going to be explaining a little bit more about what the program looks like and what the opportunity is, as well as Quentin, Professor Crowley. Quentin is has been engaging with the EIT Climate Cake for years now and running the Journey program, which is a summer school at Trinity, offered to many universities, but that Trinity has been partnering with as well for the last 4 or 5 years now. So we're very, very fortunate to have him on board as well to give us a little bit of an idea of what the program looks like as well from experience, and to talk us through the program a little bit more. So we'll start off with a presentation from Sylvia and Quentin. We'll have a brief moderated Q&A session just between us, and then at the end for about 20 minutes, we'll open up the floor to all of you as students and participants to put your questions out there. Anything that you'd like to ask now, this is the time. Also, we've had this question already, just to let you know the session is being recorded. If you'd like to share the link afterwards, you're more than actually, you're encouraged to do so. Please do share it widely. All of the information should be available to everyone. And if you come up with any questions after the session is over, please feel free to direct them to myself. You will see my email on the screen towards the end of the presentation that Sylvia will now take us through. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I pass the torch.
Thanks, Ale. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for inviting me today. Hope you can hear me. It's always tricky when we start presentation with microphone and all this kind of stuff. So thanks everybody for joining us this evening. I can see that the number of participants is raising, so I expect that someone else is going to join us as well, but we'll start anyway. So I'm Sylvia Leone. I'm the coordinator of the Climate Innovation Leadership Program at Climate Cake. And we're gonna start straightforward with the presentation of the program, which is what interests you today. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's moving, great. So for those who know a lot about the program, the Climate Innovation Leadership is the evolution of the Master School program. It's a program focused on the real life challenges and learning by doing activities. And in particular, it has been built and has been designed to empower master students from many different disciplines to become effective agents of change. By the end of the program, what students will gain is the ability to combine climate insight with new entrepreneurial and system innovation skills. And the participant will also become part of a big community, which is the alumni community of EIT Climate Cake, which is spread all around Europe. And in particular for the CIL, this is where we are. So we have 10 university on board here with this pilot program. And in particular, we have Trinity College Dublin, of course, and then the Nova University in Lisbon, the Politecnica University of Madrid, and the University Polytechnic of Valencia, the Sorbonne University in Paris, TU Delft, the University of Utrecht, the University of Bologna, the Riga Technical University, and the Cyprus University of Technology. So we are more or less all around Europe, I will say. The program is composed of 3 main dimensions, 3 main components. The first one is the personal development path. The second one is the inspiration. And the third one is the experiential learning. We're now going through all the different components. I ask you to use the chat to raise all your questions so we can have, as Alex said, a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. About the inspiration part, we are considering 2 main modules that compose this this first dimension. The first module is the Sparks, in particular are the Sparks lectures. The Sparks are a virtual meeting during which you will have the opportunity to meet with all the network around Europe. And those meetings are going to be organized along the year by all the university delivering the CIL program and us as Climate Cake. And we're going to cover many different topics. A normal Spark is composed of two main components. The first part is just an inspiration talk or a presentation from one of the speakers coming from the different university. And the second part is a workshop based on the topic that is going to be discussed during the Spark event. What we ask the students to complete this module of the CIL program is to complete and to attend 5 Spark at least along the entire year, considering that we're going to have from 10 to 15 Spark during the entire year. If you would like to attend more than 5, it's fine for us. 5 is the minimum requirement to complete this specific module. The second component of the inspiration dimension is the complementary course. This is university-based, and so this means that at your university you will receive more information about which kind of courses can be part of the CIL program and which kind of courses you will have the opportunity to attend. We're talking about entrepreneurship and system innovation courses, as well as climate topic or climate related courses. We also have online courses at Climate Cake, and you will have the opportunity to follow also our online courses. About the personal development, so this is a new component of the program compared to the master label or master school program that we used to run, and it's focused on a coaching session. So we have selected 7 coaches that are going to run this component with us this year. You as a CIL student, you will have the opportunity to follow 8 coaching sessions along the entire year, once per month, more or less, not including the months of July and August, because we're going to have the journey during those months. And the idea is that you will have the possibility within the personal development path to experience and to improve your leadership skills within the few peer-to-peer session with your small team of students and of colleagues. You will also have the opportunity to ask to one-to-one session with your coach, and by the end of the program, the idea is that each student will have the opportunity to develop from 4 to 8 different skills supported by the coaches. For the experiential learning, I pass the ball to you, Quentin, for the personal challenge-based project, which is the first part of this third dimension.
Thanks, Sylvia. Hi, everybody. Great to see you here. So I'll say a few things about this personal challenge-based project. So as you would have seen from Sylvia's introduction slides, this is one of the components of the CIL or Climate Innovation Leadership Program. So as the name suggests, it's something which you choose yourself to work on. We want to have quite a lot of flexibility in the type and the scope of the project. So you'll see from the text, this can be an individual project, something you can work on your own, or it can be part of a group project. The focus area really depends on your own interest, and there is the opportunity to link this with, for instance, your personal development and identifying areas for development with your coaches. So these individual components, you should think of them as they're all linked together, they all fit together within the program, but they also fit together in another way. I've highlighted one particular example over here, and a program called Uni Eco, and you will hear more about this week in Trinity in terms of these Green Challenge campus sustainability focused challenges. So for instance, we will offer these styles of projects about innovation on a local campus in an attempt to improve the sustainable practices on campus or in relation to the campus in a whole variety of themes. So for instance, this could be part of your individual or group project within this particular program. And by a really nice coincidence, one of the partner universities, Utrecht, is also a partner within the separate Uni Eco project. So you can link with your counterparts in Utrecht in terms of campus sustainability. So one of the reasons for implementing this style of personal challenge-based project is to provide kind of a wider framework for you to engage in your local area or local community, or in a broader perspective. So we want to have the flexibility to enable you to choose the area and in terms of how you work and with whom you work. If you could, excuse me.
I can start with that in the meanwhile. So
I'm back, it's okay.
Okay, great.
Thank you. So the Journey Summer School, Alex mentioned at the start of this webinar that Trinity has hosted a summer school. It's called The Journey, and this is part of this experiential learning experience. The Journey is quite an intensive, immersive summer school. The focus is on climate innovation, so it fits very well with the program. And all of the students accepted into the program will get a place on the summer school. So this is usually awarded competitively. And I can tell you from previous years, it's very competitive indeed. So your participation, your acceptance and participation into the SIL program will guarantee you a place in the summer school. It's the Europe's largest, if not the world's largest, summer school in climate innovation. It's been running for a number of years. Last year, we ran this fully digitally because of COVID, and that was a very interesting experience for everybody. And we have a number of plans in place in terms of the different possibilities for travel locally or internationally. So if I can say a few things about this, it's designed this year to be blended version. So some of it will be online, some of it will be in person, and then some of it will be online again. It's part of a much larger summer school, so there are going to be 300 or so students from all around Europe participating in this, so you'll be able to link with them. And the culmination of this is a kind of a symposium or a large get-together virtually or of all of the participants within the summer school. There's a big focus on systems innovation and systems thinking and how this can be used as a mindset or a methodology in terms of climate innovation. So I think I'll leave it there with the summer school, and I'm happy to answer more questions. So back to you, Sylvia.
Thanks, Quentin. So just to wrap up, this is what are the program requirements in a nutshell. So as you probably see in the website, the CIL is a one-year program. For this year, since we are piloting the programs, what we're going to require the student is to start by more or less the end of March, the program, and to end all those activities that are wrapping up here by the end of the year, so by December 2021. In particular, this is the workload that each module requires. So for the personal development, we have calculated more or less 6 hours per month, and those 6 hours correspond to 1 hour 30 of group coaching session, plus some personal coaching if it's needed from your side, some reflection time from your side, and some homework that the coaches are going to ask to all the students to deliver. About the Sparks, as I said, the workloads correspond to attend 5 Sparks experience along the year, considering that all those are going to be online activities that are going to run more or less in the evening. I will say more or less as today, and we're talking about activities that run for 1 hour and a half to 1 hour and a half, and the first one for this year is going to be at the end of March as well. The third part is the complementary course, which, as I said, it's university-based, so it's going to be really related at what your university is going to propose you. About the Journey Summer School, those are the dates. So we have the first module that is going to be online. The second module that is going to be residential in one location if the COVID situation will allow us to travel around Europe. And I know that the journey team from Climate Kick is now working on that to decide what to do with specific part of the program. The third module is a light touch, so it's not really well, it's not like full-time as the other modules. So we're going to ask the students to just keep in touch and just to continue collaborating with their project more or less for 2 hours per week. And then we're going to close the Journey Summer School with the Community Summit, which is going to be like an online weekend in September. For the personal agile-based project, this as well, it's a university focus, and one thing I think that already provides you all the information. So by the end of the program or by the end of the year, we ask the student participating in the program to complete all those requirements. And at the end, we're going to have an official event where we're going to provide you all an EIT Climate Kick certificate. This is the deadline for the application, so I know that there's not a lot of time for that because it's the 7th of March, so in a week and a half, more or less. What we ask you to within the application is to reply to a few questions, to provide us a link to a video that you have previously recorded where you're going to reply to specific questions that then I'm going to show you, and to provide us your curriculum vitae in English and the proof of master's registration at your university. If you scan the QR code, you can go directly to the CIL link, and here you can also find Alex and our email address. Alex, if it's fine for you, what I can do is to stop sharing this screen and to start sharing like the website, and we can go through the application process. So I can show you how the applications work, and I can drive you through the website. I think it can be easier than for applying if you're interested in the program.
Let's do it.
Great. Is it working? Can you see the website now?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is the website. I'm going to copy paste the link in the chat so you can all have access. And here there's the button application. And when you come here, you can see the deadline, of course, and all the things that I was saying to you. In particular, before going through the application, I want to show you this part because it's very important and it's required for the application, which is the instruction for the video. By clicking on download PDF, you have all the information. So in the first part, it's explain how you have to record the video and where you can upload the video. I ask you to please pay attention that it's a 3-minute video, not more than 3, because we're not going to assess video longer than that, or at least we're going to stop the video after the 3 minutes. And here you have the video interview question. The first question is focused on your knowledge. So we're asking you what knowledge will you bring to the community and to your peers. The second question is it's a bit tricky, I would say. So we're asking you, why should we not select you? And the third question, we ask you to propose 3 initiatives and to discuss a specific case study that is present here, which is CTX. And we just ask you to have a look at this case study and to propose 3 initiatives that could help this city. So going back to the website, if we test an application, you have just to click on this link, type your email address here. And here you go. So we have a first part, which is about few information that we're asking you about your name, surname, phone number, date of birth, the residence address. So just few information about you. The second part is focus on your university and course details. So in particular, we're asking at which university are you enrolled, and here you have the Trinity College Dublin that need to be selected from you. And we're asking about the master course in regional language and in English, and a few other information about your university and your master course. Then we have the written application itself, which is composed of 4 question in total. The first one, it's mostly focused on your motivation. So why would you like to apply for the program? The second one is focused on your involvement and experience in the field of climate change, and on your interest in the entrepreneurial cross-discipline and leadership activities. The third one is mostly focused on your vision and what would you like to do in the future. And the fourth one is just an open question if you have anything that you would like to share with us, if you want to add something. I suggest you to add something here also if you think that is not really relevant, because sometimes, well, this can make the difference. The last part is about the video link. So once you have upload video in whatever platform you want, we ask you just to put here the link, so we will have access to your video. And then to conclude, we have all the different GDPR requirements, and we ask you to upload here the proof of master's registration and the CV. Then you have to say that you're not a robot and submit your application. So I think that it's quite straightforward. I think that now I can stop share my screen.
Yeah.
It is not this, but that. Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Sylvia and Quentin. So right now, what I'm going to do is bridge the Q&A for the students with a more direct Q&A between us. And my first question, and I'm sure that this is at the top of the list for many of the applicants that we're going to see, is given COVID travel restrictions, what are the contingency plans for running the Climate Innovation Leadership Program online this year? What's that going to look like? Sylvia, maybe you can lead us off on that.
Yeah, thanks. So as I said, I will say that the first thing is actually the journey, which is the only part that has a residential part, not in your university location. We're now considering this, so we're going to take care of all the restrictions that we're going to have during the summer of this year. And for all the rest, the program is going to be run mostly online. So we have a LMS platform, which is Brightspace, and we have built here all the different modules. So the students are going to follow all the activities through this. The only other residential part is the personal challenge-based project that is going to be focused at your university. So we are trying to cover all the different activities online, or to provide you the possibility to attend the activities anyway.
And Quentin, from your experience in running the Journey Summer School last year, how was that shift from going from in-person to an online summer school that we're still technically preparing for to be in person in Dublin, and with a field trip to the Midlands,
Yes.
all fully paid for? But how did that look like last year, if that happened?
It's a good question. So by way of background, we had run an in-person Journey Summer School at Trinity College for the previous 3 years. And then we were faced with a decision as a collective group for all of the Journey hosts, whether or not we should go ahead with the summer school last year. We all decided we should, and it was run very successfully as a fully online journey. There were tools and strategies which we implemented, which we hadn't used before. And the end result was that the learning objectives were met, and it was very successful. We had groups of 40 participants who had never met before. And by the end of the few weeks, they were like really good friends and worked extremely well in teamwork and still in contact. And this is a really big point, actually, because I have groups from the previous 4 years of Journey participants, and we're all still in regular contact with each other through messaging and, social media groups, etc. So really, I can't stress this more than enough, that going through a program like this is fantastic, not just in terms of the knowledge gained and the experience, but also in terms of becoming part of a larger community. And whether this happens in person or whether it happens through digital space, they both work equally well.
That's a wonderful point, and it brings to mind the fact that all of the participating students will also be a part of the EIT Climate Kick alumni community at the end of this. Sylvia, I think you're actually an alumna yourself.
Yeah. I was laughing now that Quentin said that he's still in contact with the journey. Well, I'm still in contact with my journey. So I did the journey in 2017, so well, a while ago. And well, it has been a great opportunity for me, and actually completely changed my life, of course, because I'm now like on the other side of the program. So yeah, I highly suggest to everybody to take part on those experiences. And I'm not just thinking about the climate innovation leadership that can be just one of all the experience that the university is proposing you, just because sometimes this can really make the difference for you. After my journey, I've been in touch with the Italian Climate Kick community, and I've started working with them. And then I had the opportunity to move. I'm now based in Paris, working with the Climate Kick French office, and I've started work then with the master school and now with the CIL team, which is great, being on the other side after being a journey participant. And yeah, so Climate Kick gave me a lot of opportunity until today, and I'm super happy to have taken part in this program a few years ago now.
Thank you, Sylvia. It sounds like a very good opportunity. I wish I could take myself. And although, you know, not everybody's career stream will be the same, having contact with everybody that's been on the program, I think is highly valuable in terms of networking and moving forward. So thank you guys. From there, I think what we can do is start moving over to the Q&A that they're feeding into our Q&A little box here. Thank you to everybody that's putting in their questions. Feel free to do so if you haven't already done so, or if you're waiting on an invitation for me to do so. We can start with the, I see that there's a couple in the chat as well. I'll start with the Q&A section, and then I'll move over to the ones in the chat, just to be able to keep things organized a little bit. So our first question is, for the online module, do you have to attend it live, or can you catch up online after? I think I can answer that a bit, and maybe Sylvia, you can give me some more information as well. But if you, we don't know exactly which complementary courses the university is going to be offering yet. We have some ideas in mind, and I think that you're going to want to take part. But in all respects, you're going to have to attend the courses as if you were a student on that course in any other way. And then there's the Climate Kick courses as well, Sylvia.
Yeah, so for the Climate Kick courses, those are not like in presence. So actually you can attend those courses whenever you want. On the other side, for the other modules that are going to be run online, like for example, for the Spark lectures, those we're going to ask you to attend this live because we're going to have the workshop part. And for the personal development, it's going to be in presence as well. So we're going to split all the students in small group, I will say from 7 to 9 students per group, and we're going to ask the group of students within the coaching to agree on a date for the coaching session. And for the Journey Summer School, because also this part has online modules, also for the Journey Summer School, we're going to ask you to be in presence. And please consider that the first part of the Journey Summer School is going to be a full-time program. So I just want to let you know since the very beginning that it's not going to be possible to work in parallel of the Journey Summer School for the first two modules, the online and the residential part. Just because this is a question that, every time it comes. Yeah.
I should say as well, last year when we ran the journey online, we had a maximum screen time of 4 hours per day. However, I would say that there was some asynchronous offline learning happening in addition to that. So to emphasize what Sylvia said, for the Journey Summer School, it really is a full-time immersive program. Having said that, I have spoken to some students at Trinity who are interested in applying and maybe have concerns about the workload. And I'd say to you to talk to your program directors. For instance, if you're undertaking a research project over the summer months and that coincides with the timing of the journey, think about how you can integrate your research project with what you're learning in the journey, that it's possible that one can complement the other. So in other words, you can add value to what you're doing in your master's by participating within the journey. You shouldn't think of it as taking time away from your master's research. It's something that is very complementary and goes hand in hand. And that's really how this has been designed.
Thanks, Quentin. Thank you, Sylvia. Our next question comes from Abhishek, And he asks if for students who are graduating this September from their master's programs, will they be able to continue this program until December? And I'll take a first stab at answering this. Yes, you will be obligated to continue on with the full program. So if you feel like you cannot participate after September, this program is unfortunately not really for you. we need the students to be able to stick onto it for the whole the whole term this year. And I'm not sure if I'm missing anything. Sylvia.
May I add something? Yeah, it's just like a suggestion. So as Alex said, yes, it's absolutely possible, and you have to take part, mostly because the personal development part is going to run from end of March until beginning of December. So you will also have session between September and December. So my suggestion is to say, try to focus all the other activities before, because having just one module during the last part of the year will allow you to have like a job in parallel. Having all the modules in parallel could be quite tricky, I would say. So I suggest to like complete the sparks as soon as possible, complete the challenge-based project, complete the complementary modules before ending your master. So then you will have only the personal development to complete by the end of the year. And I think it will be, well, easy peasy.
Thank you, Sylvia. Our next question, I'm just going to direct to Quentin, and it asks how many places there are available on the course. Just to preface this, I'm going to just mention that this is the first time that this program is being piloted. Go ahead, Quentin, please take on.
Thank you. Yes, so we're aiming to have approximately 15 students. It's give or take. That's kind of an optimum number for us. We could make it work with fewer. And we could make it work with more students, but that's kind of the optimum for us is 15. So I see there are about 30 people on this live call at the moment, which means if all of you were to apply, probably only half of you would be accepted. So that's something to keep in mind. I'd suggest that you get your applications in as early as you can if you're serious about this.
Thank you, Quentin. And our next question comes in from an anonymous attendee who asks, in terms of why we should not select you question on the application page, do we have any tips for how to answer this? Sylvia, do you have any tips?
I just be creative. I don't want to say nothing because this is a question that every time comes up, and I really love seeing what students answer at the end of the application. So just be creative, and there's no right or wrong answer. So don't worry about this.
Thank you. Then now Caitlin Duffy asks, is this program geared more towards business related degrees? And I'll go to Quentin for that.
So one of the big advantages of being involved in a program like this is that you get to work with and network with people from all different backgrounds and disciplines. And this is a key attribute that it does involve teamwork. You're working in groups and there's value within that diversity. So I would say we don't favor a particular discipline. In actual fact, we favor diversity within the groups. So whatever your area of study is, if you have a curiosity and an open mind, and you want to learn more about climate innovation, and you're interested in becoming a future climate innovation leader, then you should apply.
Would it be right for me to encourage students from disciplines that they might not first think of as being the ideal candidates for this program to apply even more, because that would help the program become more diverse?
Yes, I mean, if I can give you an example, typically within the journey, we have 40 students per group. Ordinarily, and maybe 18 different nationalities sometimes within these groups. In terms of disciplines, it could be business, economics, creative arts, manufacturing, engineering, chemistry, cultural studies, gender studies, really across the board, town planners, etc., architects. So really, we value this diversity in the groups, and it's one of the main attributes, I would say.
Drama students.
Drama students, sure. Yeah, definitely.
Will be great.
We need the creative energy.
We do. So the next question comes to us from, I don't know how to pronounce your name there, so I'll just I'll go ahead with the question. But is this mainly a 2-year master's program, or can someone who will be graduating this August also apply? We touched on this earlier. I might ask Sylvia just to reaffirm the point that she had made.
I can mute myself. Yeah, so it's a 1-year program. If you're going to end your master program by in August, for example, you're more than welcome to apply anyway. Just consider only that the program ends at the end of the year. So you will have activities running also from August until December, and you will have to attend those activities.
So please do apply if you feel like you can stay on board until December. We'd appreciate your continued participation, and it's required. So their next question we have is, do you think that this program will open doors to internships or graduate programs for participants? I will again defer to Sylvia from her experience as a student and EIT alumni.
Yeah, well, definitely, yes. The answer is just yes, because actually you will have the opportunity to meet like all the different university during the different Spark lectures, and not only, you will have the opportunity also to meet like students or also company that are can run some specific activities. And I also suggest to keep the eyes open during the journey summer school, because also during the journey you will meet a lot of different speakers, stakeholders, and enterprises that are working in the field of climate change or in systemic innovation. So yeah.
Thank you, Sylvia. A follow-on question is, what type of courses are available to take in complementary course part of this program? So we touched on that earlier. These are not yet confirmed within Trinity. There may be some from other universities that Trinity students can also take as part of the program, but this is yet to be defined as we're just kicking off first. Is there anything else that I should say on that point, Sylvia or Quentin? No. I think that's
just that we have preliminary identified courses which would be applicable and relevant and complementary to the general theme of the program.
Yes, and the works are topics covering systems innovation, and as part of the Journey program, we will be taking you through some of the steps of design thinking, which leads to the next question. But before I get to that, I will ask Sylvia if she had any points to make additionally.
Just one thing, we can also have like courses focused on climate science, just because if you're a student studying, I don't know, philosophy, probably you don't know a lot about climate related issue. And we also have courses that can cover these things also at other university, for example.
Thank you both. Our next question is again from Anonymous. And does the program link with potential employers who are interested in hiring Climate Kick graduates? Quentin, maybe you can kick us off with this one. What has been your experience?
Yes, I would say there's good potential there. Climate Kick has been running for a number of years, and the educational and entrepreneurial activities have been running for a number of years. So there's a very well-established global network of Climate Kick alumni, many of whom are working in most of whom are working in related disciplines. And also, as you mentioned, Alex, through the Journey Summer School, we do get to meet a lot of the local stakeholders and industry members. So there's good potential there for networking. There's a good understanding. The summer school is well embedded within the activities, calendar of events in Ireland. And there's very good awareness of these activities with local industry. So I'd say you're doing yourself a big favor in terms of your future employability and networking through your participation in this program.
And as well as trying to forge maybe your own ideas and put forward your own projects, which may one day bud into startups themselves. And we're happy to link you in with other projects and programs that we have at Tangent and beyond to help you succeed in that path. So sky's the limit. Our next question is first starting to state that it sounds like a really interesting program. Agreed. Can I ask if the deadline for submission is set in stone, or could this be extended? Sylvia, if
Yeah,
you
I think that this time is set in stone, and I'm sorry for that. Just to give you a small background, so we already select the first cohort of students that joined the program at at the beginning of this week. And we're talking about the first 19 students that joined the program. And we need to have all the students on board by the end of March to kick off with the second cohort of students and to start the personal development path. The coaches are ready and are looking forward to meet you all. And to be on track with the 8th session with the coaches, we have to start this at the end of March. So yeah, the deadline is set in stone.
All right, and our next question is, will the university modules be offered by Trinity? Yes, they will be. And do you have an idea about what these might be? We're still trying to figure these out amongst us. The plans are moving forward in parallel to the registration and the applications coming in from participants, but we have some pretty good ideas. So far, just nothing we can mention right now because we don't want to break any promises later, I guess. Quentin, do you want to talk a little bit more about what the topics?
That's a good synopsis. Yeah, we've discussed this with various course coordinators, and we have a number of different modules which may potentially be offered, but we just haven't decided on which ones would be give most value at this stage. It's something we're going to decide very soon in the next few weeks.
Another question we have is, what is the final product for the challenge-based project? A presentation, a paper, etc. And I think this is a great question. It has a very long answer, but maybe Sylvia, you can give us an idea.
Yeah, so from the Climate Kick side, what we're going to ask the student is to complete 3 main templates, I will say. The first one is to inform us what is your project, your challenge-based project about. The second one is along the project, we're going to ask you to provide us a bit more detail of how it's going and what are your achievements until then. And then we're going to have a third and final report, I will say, where we're going to ask you a few questions. It's not going to be a real paper or a real presentation. It's more like a short report where we're going to ask you to provide us what are the achievements of your challenge-based project, what have you done for this, and those kind of questions. I don't know if Quentin, if you want to add more on that.
I would add that really it depends on your challenge-based project. What Sylvia has described is the basics of what's required. However, if you wanted to go further than that, for instance, if you have a project which is based on Dublin City and campus, and maybe you'll involve stakeholders such as the local city authority, Dublin City Council, you may have some discussions with them about how they can implement what the solutions that you are providing. So it may involve something like a local action plan, for instance. And there is scope to develop this and take it further if you so wish.
And again, Quentin gave some great information about the potential to link in with UNICO challenge-based projects if it so interests you. You can again watch this presentation from earlier on to get more information on that again, or just simply link in with us if you have more questions. The next question we have is it possible to apply for this program if you have already graduated from your master's at Trinity College Dublin? Sylvia, what would you have to say?
So I would say that probably, so if you already received the master and you're still in contact with Trinity College Dublin, this can be an option. Please consider that we are anyway having the master student as a priority for the program.
All right, and the next question we have is, if after graduation, if our job takes us to another country, can we continue the rest of the course remotely? And just off the bat, I can say, I guess it depends on when you're graduating. You will have to be here, like Quentin mentioned earlier, for the Journey program in person if it is conducted in person. And it'll be important for you to dedicate your full at least 2 weeks to that and also complete the rest of the program. So I think that's the most I can give on that. Is there anything else I'm missing, Sylvia?
No, I think that for the rest, it's fine whenever you are. Just consider that if you are on the other side of the world, probably time zone is not going to be helpful for you because all the other students going to be in Europe. But as long as it's not a problem for you, you can be wherever you want because everything's going to be online.
Quentin, last year for the Journey program, did you have lots of students tuning in from outside of Ireland, and they had any issues with the time zones and everything?
We had a few students of our group of 40 who were in some very different time zones. Actually, we had we see students in Argentina, Mexico, different parts of India, Pakistan, and China, and everybody was there every day. So, it can be a challenge if you're in a dramatically different time zone, but it is possible to do.
Right. Our next question is for international students who are graduating in September. Do they have to attend anything in person from September to December, or could they return to their countries and finish out the rest of the program online? I think that links into what we had mentioned previously. Maybe, Quentin, do you want to just reiterate what we had just said?
So as it stands, the in-person activity will be the Journey Summer School during summer months. So if you're graduating in September, then that shouldn't be an issue. There will be some course components to complete. However, these can be completed online. So that shouldn't be an obstacle for you. If you're an international student currently at Trinity College and you want to return to your home country after September, there should be no issue with that.
The last question is, if we're non-EU, can we stay on to do the course after our graduation, or will we need to go back home and do it from there? I'm not sure if you're asking really if we can provide any letters of support for you to stay, or what that entails. Sylvia, have you had any similar questions come in from other universities around this?
I think that the question is more related about if you can stay, if you have to stay, or not probably if we can stay. If the question is really if you can stay, I will say that we can check with Journey team if there will be the possibility to ask for a visa, something similar, but I'm not 100% sure that this will be possible. I know that this is possible for students that need to come to the Journey if the Journey is residential. But on the other way around, I'm not sure that it's possible for having something which is not related, even considering that actually all the other activities are going to be online. So there's no real reason for us to provide you the possibility to ask for a visa.
If the issue is with a visa, you should be aware that it's possible to obtain a work visa after graduation for up to 2 years in Ireland, regardless of your nationality. I think it's 1 year and then reapplying. There are some certain conditions associated with that in terms of maximum earning and the area of your employment and how it relates to your degree program. I'm not sure if that's what the question refers to, but you might want to speak to your course coordinator to ask more about visas for staying in Ireland after graduation.
If you feel like we haven't answered your question, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to supplement you or be a signpost towards more information. That is the last question that I see in our Q&A box. So I'll move over to our chat to see what the questions there are. The first one was from earlier on from Elena, and she had said, "Hi, I don't know much about this program, as I wanted to ask how long it is and if it is an extra module we can take. I saw that it lasts 12 months and I'm a little confused. Do we get a certificate in the end? Thanks in advance for clarifying." We've gone over the timeline of the program, and we can reiterate that now. And the certificate is probably an interesting mention that Sylvia maybe could tell you a little bit more about.
Yeah. So yeah, the program is at 12 months, but we're gonna have a shorter program for this year. So everything's going to end anyway at the end of December. And yes, at the end of December, you will receive, if you're going to complete all the different modules, an EIT Climate Cake certificate that you attend the program. And there's also another certificate which is journey focus. So at the end of the journey, you will anyway receive the journey certificate.
All right, and the last question there is, please let me know if I'm interpreting this correctly, but should we be a part of all modules, residential, online, etc.? I don't know if that just means if you have to attend them live, Again, the Journey program does require for you to take part in the program face-to-face if it is going to be delivered that way within Ireland. And you do have to complete all of the components of the program, including the courses, attend Sparks, and your personal challenge-based projects. I think that answers that. I wasn't really sure how to put that across. Is there anything else, though, that we can answer for you now? We have 10 more minutes on the clock for you here today. We'll give it a couple more minutes. In the meantime, I just want to say, if there are no questions coming in, I just wanted to say thank you again for being with us here today. Thank you to Sylvia for coming on from Climate Kick over in Paris. Thank you to Quentin, who's here in Dublin and took some time out of his evening to answer some of your questions. And if you have more, again, feel free to send me an email. I will put it in the chat now. Also, if you don't already, feel free to follow us on Twitter. We give up live updates at Tangent about similar programs and opportunities. There's also, there's another question that just come in. And there's an event I wanted to tell you about following this one. So one more question has come in. Can you give some other examples of the challenge-based projects that you have seen in the program? This is quite varied. So it could be anything really from a startup that you want to develop to working on, like Quentin was mentioning earlier, to campus-based questions. But Quentin, would you be able to supplement your answer from earlier?
Well, an interesting one, there's also a climate hackathon which takes place once a year, coordinated by Climate Kick. And Trinity have hosted 2 of these in the last few years. So for instance, if you wanted to form a group to help to organize this climate hackathon during the year, this could be your challenge-based project, where you would reach out to local challenge owners and identify key people to invite to give talks and basically host and run the event at Trinity College. That's an example of a challenge-based project.
Okay, and that I think brings us to the end of the road for the questions that we had coming in through our Q&A box. If you are interested and you have some more time this evening, there is an event with the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency of Ireland, and we have a special presentation including EIT Climate Kick's Kristen Dunlop, and she's going to be talking more about the EPA climate change, and I'm just going to read it off here. Direct the money, how does finance become an enabler of a climate neutral economy and society? I will put that link in for you in the chat if you're interested in more green activities. If there's anything else, please do feel free to email me. I'm noticing that I'm only sending it to panelists. I'm sorry for that. Here's the link and here's my email. And thanks again for your time. We'll leave it there for this evening and we'll see you later. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Good luck with your applications.
Thanks a lot. Hope to see a lot of application coming.